Hey guys, welcome back. Today I want to talk about something that unfortunately we all have to deal with, and that is stress. More specifically, I want to talk about the type of stress that is brought on by having too many things to get done and maybe having to get them done in a very limited amount of time. I was inspired to do this video because I've just been feeling extremely stressed and overwhelmed and just unable to get motivated because of this stress lately. So this is really going to be more of like a rant and ramble about the stress that I've been dealing with. I am going to share 5 tips on how to cope and deal with this stress. Now, I'm not going to be preaching to you guys how to get over your stress. Honestly, this is more of a video for myself to remind myself that it is okay to have stress sometimes and there's ways to deal with it. So let's jump right into the tips. The first tip is to put the stress into perspective, or put what is causing the stress into perspective. This can be interpreted in a couple different ways. First, putting things into perspective as in, how much is this really going to impact your life and for how long? Is this something you're gonna worry about next week? Is it something that you're even gonna remember a month from now? Is it gonna have any kind of impact on you a year from now? If you can answer no to any of those, it's not as big of a deal as it may seem. So you can kind of relax and reassure yourself that this is not a life make or breaking issue, decision, whatever stressing you out. So that's one way to kind of put the stress into perspective. But with this, I more so mean put what's causing the stress into perspective. Personally, for me, I've been stressed out about having a lot of different things going on work-wise and personal life, and just having too many things going on. But I was on the phone with my dad the other day and I was telling him about all this stuff, and I kind of just stopped talking in the middle of a sentence and thought to myself, wait a minute, why am I even kind of stressing and complaining about having amazing opportunities come my way? And I kind of just realized that yes, maybe there is a lot going on right now, but it's all things that I love to do. I mean, besides getting taxes done, that's not very fun, but the majority of it is like these incredible and insane opportunities that I have always wanted, and that's what I've been working towards. So rather than being stressed about it, I should just be so appreciative and thankful of these opportunities. Yes, maybe it's a lot all at once, but it's so worth it. Once I was able to wake myself up and give myself a little slap in the face and put those into perspective, I kind of calmed down, and it really reassured me that all of this hard work is worth it. Moving on to tip number 2 is to write down a list of all the things you have to do. When it's stuck in your head, it is so hard to just think about anything else but those to-do lists that you just keep running through over and over in your head and writing them in different orders. If you write them down, it kind of relieves your brain of thinking about these, especially because you might be afraid you're gonna forget to do something. So having it tangible on a piece of paper can really help. I know if I don't write my to-do list, I can't sleep at all. I will lay in bed, I will go over the things I have to do, I'll think about when I'm gonna do them and blah, 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 and it's just so excessive. So I have a notebook and I just write down my to-do list, and it helps so much. Not even typing it out, something about writing it is like releasing my body of the stress and the things I have to do. My third tip kind of goes along with the second tip, and this is to schedule out when you are gonna do things. Whether you write it day by day or hour by hour, whatever works best for you in that specific situation. This can also help you to focus on the task at hand. Rather than worrying about the 20 other things you have to do while you're trying to get one thing done, you focus on that specific thing, knowing that you have a time frame of when you're doing everything else. Not only does this really benefit you to get your shit done because you know when it needs to be done and you kind of give yourself a specific timeline, it also helps you find where you have free time. Oftentimes, if I have a really busy week or even month, I kind of blow my friends off and tell them, I'm sorry, I'm so busy, I don't have time. That's ridiculous. Like, even just going and grabbing coffee or grabbing lunch. You're gonna eat at some point anyways. You're going to get coffee at some point anyways. Why not give yourself even 15 minutes to go do that with a friend and catch up and let yourself unwind and not be constantly working and stressing. But if you don't schedule out when you're gonna get your stuff done, you might just be overwhelmed by the to-do list and the 50 things that are on it and think, there's no way I have time to do whatever else thing that you want to do. I personally like to just write my week down and then have my to-do list above the week schedule. And then I move those to-do lists into each day, and sometimes I'll separate it by morning, afternoon, or night, or even by the hour, whatever I need to do, always giving myself a little bit extra time than I think I might need to get it done. That way I'm not overwhelmed if I go into the next task a little bit. Tip number 4 is to give yourself some me time, but not too much me time. Set an hour aside or so in your schedule to just read a book, or even just taking a long shower or bath, or painting your nails, or watching your favorite TV show. Just don't overdo it and then get stuck in a rut of procrastinating your tasks, because the longer you wait, the scarier the tasks seem, and you almost just want to put them off even more. So if you watch an episode of your favorite show, watch one episode, not an entire season, and then it's 2 days later and you're like, oh shit, about that to-do list. This will just give yourself a minute to recharge and recuperate and really get in that mindset to be ready for the next amount of tasks that you have to get done. If you're just constantly working, you will burn yourself out. Give yourself a minute, take the time you need. It's all about balance. And finally, my last tip is to reward yourself when you do finish your crazy busy to-do list. By having a reward at the end of the list, it gives yourself incentive to get it done, especially if you're doing tasks that don't necessarily have a specific deadline, like cleaning your room or doing your laundry. If you give yourself a reward at the end of these not so fun chores, you'll have a lot more motivation to get them done. For me, I get to see all of you lovely people at Playlist Live in Orlando this weekend, which I am so excited about. I really hope you guys are all going, and I know we're doing a meet and greet. I'm not sure off the top of my head what time that meet and greet is, but Shannon and I are going to do a YouNow Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're going to Playlist, come hang out with us on YouNow and we'll talk all about it. If you're not going to Playlist, come hang out so we can talk about how much we're gonna miss you and maybe where we should go next so we can come see you eventually. Thank you guys so much for letting me just ramble about this stress. It honestly helped me so much to just talk about it and get it off my chest. I just kind of gotten a little bit of a rut of being overwhelmed, and thanks to you guys and all your amazing support, you kind of got me out of that funk. So I just figured I should share my insight with you, and now I have this video to remind myself that it's all good. If you guys have any more tips about dealing with stress, or if you're stressed out and you don't know how to deal with it, please feel free to start a discussion in the comment section below. I would love to talk about this a little bit more with you guys. That's the one drawback of sitting here recording to a camera and not actually being able to talk to you guys, but we can discuss it now. I would be happy to give you any more tips that I have, and I'm sure a lot of you have even better tips that you could share with each other. So let's just chat about it. I love you guys so much. Seriously, I don't think you know how much I adore you all, and I will see you next week. Love you guys. Bye.